Okay, now once again I'm going to endeavor to record an urban legend folklore by the name of Honky Tonk Bud, the hip catster. It's a story about a drug dealer who gets arrested, and it's an example of how African Americans have had traditionally the tendency to pass on folklore verbally as opposed to writing it down. So I'm going to endeavor to do that while I slip into the mode here with my sunglasses on and to begin to tell you the story of Honky Tonk Bud. Honky Tonk Bud, the hip catster, was digging a game of pool. Now Bud wasn't bragging because his bag was lacking, but he knew he was showing up cool. He was choked up tight in a white on white coconut silk that was down. He wore a hand-painted tie that hung to his fly and sported a gold dust crown. That was the 15th frame of a straight pool game, and Bud stood digging the play. With an idle shrug, he casually dug a stranger heading his way. Now he was a medium-built cat with a jive hat that must have been 10 years old. He wore messed up vines and needed his shine and kept shivering as if he were cold. Now to any other stud, said Honky Tonk Bud, he passed for a regular flunky. But through experienced eyes and many past highs, Bud dug the dude was a junkie. Now he claimed his Jones was down, his man wasn't around, he went to his house to score. So looking at drug and showing up Bud, he turned and slipped for the door. Bud said, "Hey man, you look sick, like you need a fix. Perhaps I can do favors for you. I'm Honky Tonk Bud, the hip cat stud known up and down 8th Avenue. Now if you want a cop, then let's talk shop. And perhaps I can help you score. But you need a bail because the deal's wholesale. That's the only connection I'm for." Now the dude looked down with a halfway frown, as if to make up his mind. "I got the bread, but I'm leery," he said. "I'm seeking the best I can find. But now I'll give you a lease on a real nice piece, and you won't have to put up no ends. First you try it, then you buy it. That way we both stay friends. Now you lay in store while I go and score, and I won't be gone for long." Bud was back quick, for he too was sick, and they went to the crib to get on. Now they cooked up in haste. Now the drop was waste. As they both rolled up their sleeves, Bud pulled out 2 spikes and also 2 hypes and some bands that he put with these. Bud said, "Go easy, man, with that spike in your hand. You have to take it slow. This is high-priced spit, and just a few drops of it will knock the average junkie on the floor." Bud's face turned red, and he finally said, "Man, I'm sure enough high." The dude sprung to his heels and flashed his shield and said, "Pin Jack, FBI." Now the courtroom was full, for Bud had pulled. All the pimps and boosters were there. Those who knew him, the agent who threw him, and some rats who came in to stare. There were sweet draws, Lucy, looking real juicy, hooked up and doped up too. Humped to the grind of the weak spot, find a stick pin and tuck titty suit. There was old man McMarry, the whorehouse terror, dish mouth and money making slim. Slump rump Annie, mumble tongue Fanny, dit and sticky finger Jim. Now all eyes turned right. Soft tone Ike eased in with 4 hoes real fine, and a professional killer named Stinky John Miller followed not far behind. Dope dens were closed, crime suddenly decreased, the numbers were in, but banking action had ceased. For Honky Tonk Bud, the hip cat stud, was truly a well-known name. He never hollered, but merely followed the rules laid down for the game. Now D.A. Grace presented his case, and the agent involved took the stand. He told in detail how he made the sale and how Honky was a big-time man. He wears $300 vines with an ad machine mind and drives a Cadillac as long as a train. He talks like a squirrel, but he's pimping 10 girls, and he's the master of the confidence game. Now, F.W. Spence, the hip cat's defense, was rated an all-time great. in this man's hand like Honky's 10 grand, and also the result of the state. We can't win, he said, as he counted the bread. These are tough facts you'll just have to face, because F.W. Pager, the narcotics agent, has built up an airtight case. I couldn't get to none, the jury picking's done, I couldn't get to none, and the lab technicians won't buy. The DA's so scared he won't take no bread, and you can't bribe the FBI. But I tried other things for political strings, but the word is strictly no can do, because the Chief Justice decided a hanging judge should try, and they'll probably make an example out of you. So these were the facts as the DA attacked the character of Honkey Tonk Bud. The hustlers sneered as they heard his name smeared, trampled and drugged through the mud. The jury went out after a 3-hour bout and left with a look that was filthy. But when the foreman concerned named Daly returned, and he announced the defendant was guilty, the crowd yelled. Then a sudden hush fell as Bud stood facing the court. With sudden wonder, it sounded like thunder as the judge cleared his voice and thought. Now, Bud, I'd shock the nation if I gave you probation with the evidence we have against you. In this situation, you deserve no consideration. 40 years is the best I can do. So now these were the facts. And after a brief intermission, with the judge's permission, Honky was to have his say. He was facing a long time with a lot on his mind, so he ran it down this way. Now I ain't crying, but the fact he was lying, and he left you all with the notion that I'm a big-time wheel in the narcotics field, and I hope the punk gets a promotion. I dug from the junk you was holding the trunk when you wouldn't let my lawyer object, but a stack is a stack and a fact is a fact. I never even touched the debt. But just the same, it's all in the game. I dug when I sat in the play to take the low cards and give all the odds of the price we dope fiends must pay. So I'll serve my time for this meatball crime, since you gonna make an example out of me. But some drunken villain will run down your chillin', pay a small fine, and then go free. But I want you to note, reporters can quote, that I lost this case with a grin. And those who know and will tell you so, it's the same grin I wear when I win. So goes the saying of Honkey Tonk Bud.